Have you ever been in a specific time in your life and you've just been like, what the hell is going on? I mean, we've all been there. I'm starting this conversation with this question because there are parts of human design that we can use to make sense of some of these times in our life. This is what we call life cycle analysis. And there are some key points in everyone's life where we are going to have some disruption or some changes. And that's what I want to speak through in this conversation to understand the different life cycle changes we go through from a human design perspective. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Rebecca. I'm an IHDS certified human design analyst and also a living your design guide. And I've spoken to over 1,000 people at this point, primarily projectors, probably around 800 projectors. So let's go into this life cycle analysis and the key points in our life. Now, the first key point is it is intended, or if you would like, let's put it that way, you can run a solar return chart for each year of your life. Fascinating. Now, what does this actually mean? A solar return chart is like your birthday chart. And actually, it's best to get this done 3 months before your birthday. Why? Because in human design, we have two charts, the birth chart and the prenatal chart. They come together. The mind and the body charts come together. Consciousness and design come together to form you. And actually, 3 months before your birthday, your birth chart, as in your design chart, is already in its new year. Your body's already there. Your mind's catching up. So this 3 month window is a really important period of time. So 3 months before your birthday is a really important pivotal time. And it's kind of suggested not to make any huge decisions at this point because your body is already in its new year and your mind is not. So it can feel quite like a disjointed time. So it's best to wait until after your birthday. But doing a solar return chart ahead of your birthday can help to make sense of the waves in which will come next year, right? In this new birth year for yourself, what is the weather forecast of the transits? Who are the key characters coming in? We can look into kind of the path that you're on that year, the thematics of that year. Is it going to be a particular type of emotional year? Is there going to be particular struggles? Is there going to be particular creative projects? Is there going to be like what kind of things are coming in? And then how to navigate that particular year. So solar returns are yearly, and you can get this done at any time, but 3 months before your birthday is prime time to prep yourself for riding the waves of the next year. But in terms of our main life cycle points, our first big point is our Saturn return. And it's something I'm familiar with, and I'm sure there are people watching this and listening to this that are either in or going through or have obviously been through the Saturn return. And that's around kind of 28 years old, approximately. And you're going to feel this a couple years before and a couple years after. 28, approximately, depending on your chart, is where it peaks. And Saturn is like the disciplinarian. And everyone has Saturn in a different placement in their chart, but also when we pull up the Saturn return chart, we can see the key thematics here. Where is Saturn disciplining you? And actually, how do we follow our personal law within our Jupiter to ride the wave of this? Saturn return at 28 years old is where you really start evaluating who you want in your life, who you don't want in your life, where you're living, what you're eating. All this stuff becomes so much more important. And it's the first time you've had a real big planetary influence over your life. It's the first point of being challenged to step into your actual purpose. And it can feel really confronting. It can feel really destabilizing. It can feel like you're having to face who you are. It can feel like you have to get rid of the things that you are not. It can feel very destabilizing, but it is there to discipline you back on track. Because for the first 30 years, you've been this child. That's from a human design perspective. You've been this child experimenting with life, moving through life. Not much responsibility, perhaps. I know there's nuances to this. And now, no. What's your purpose? There's no avoiding this now. What's your role within society going to be? So we can look into the Saturn return chart to make sense of this. Now, the next biggest point, and I get a lot of people come to me around this type of point in their life, is Uranus opposition. This is a biggie. This is, in one view, turning from an adult to a child, but either way, it's switching nodes, is our nodal view switch. Around 44 years old, it gets reported a few years before and a few years after that the world looks different. What you once were concerned about, you're not seeing it anymore. Something else has come in. It's like a midlife crisis point. It's when, stereotypically you buy the car or you get a new house or you move countries and things like that. You start seeing the world differently. You start feeling differently. And when we look into Uranus opposition, we're looking into what the environment looks like. We're looking into the energy shift from pre-44 to post-44. And it's incredibly different for most people. So what once was a highly pressurized environment is now a highly emotional environment. What once was an environment where you saw lots of conflict is now actually all about change, depending on what gates you have in your different nodes. And we can look into the Uranus opposition transit chart to see, who's coming into your life, what influences are going to be there for the next half of your life. That's Uranus opposition, around 44 years old. We then have your Chiron returns, and this is around 48, 49, 50 years old. And Chiron is like the thing that comes in to look at your shadows. This is like just before you step into the full potential of who you're here to be. So post Chiron returns, you step into your full potential. That is like, you need to do your purpose at that point. And what's stopping you? I mean, you've got your Saturn return that came in and disciplined you. You've got Uranus opposition that's gone, okay, yeah, you've seen this stuff, but now apply it to where you're going, not where you've been. And now Chiron comes in and goes, right, all of these shadows need to be left. And that's what we look at within a Chiron returns chart. The shadows that need to be left, the lessons that are coming in, the focus for the next period of your life. We then have your next one, which is your second Saturn return, which is around kind of 60, 58, 60 years old. Again, you'll feel it before and you'll feel it after, and that is your second point of discipline. Saturn comes back in and goes, have you done it? And you're like, I don't know. It comes back into discipline in a different way this time. Different influences in different places, different people coming in. And it's like, come on, you're nearly 60. You've got to fulfill your purpose. There's not much time. This is the narrative I get from people that come to me at around 60 years old. I haven't got enough time. Like, what am I here to do? Yep, that's that Saturn energy. So we can look at that within a chart. We can see where your thoughts are, where your mind is telling you, and also where you're coming off track, because we still have to do the process of life. We can't think our way into purpose. So these are the primary places we look at within life cycles. The yearly solar returns, like a little birthday treat. We look into Saturn return. Did I say solar? Yeah. Saturn return at 30, Uranus opposition at 44, Chiron returns at around 50, and then second Saturn return at 60, approximately. And if you're heading towards one of these points and you're starting to feel the influence of this, it can be a real benefit to understand where your particular energy is going to be swayed to keep you on track, as well as having a reminder around how to use your strategy and authority. So you could, of course, research this on your own. However, there are sessions available for this. If you want to understand why you're experiencing this, why it feels like a midlife crisis point, like that makes so much sense. I've actually resonated so much with what you just said right now. I need to understand the exact lessons that I'm learning just to validate my experience, because it feels really destabilizing. And I need to understand how to stay myself within this, because I feel like I'm riding a boat and it's very rocky and wavy right now. Then book a session. Online at the Projector Movement, you can book the whole range of specialized life cycle readings. You can also book on for an incarnation cross reading, which hones you back in with your purpose. So I hope to see you within one of those sessions. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. See you soon, guys.